Brooke Sullivan's new job begins with 3 rules. Treat every prisoner with respect. Never reveal personal information. And never ever get too friendly with an inmate. That would already be unnerving in a normal prison. But Brooke isn't walking into a normal first day. She's stepping into Raker Maximum Security Penitentiary, a place full of violent men, knowing that one of them is Shane Nelson, her high school sweetheart, the father of her 10-year-old son, and the man she helped put away for life. Brooke didn't take this job because she wanted a fresh challenge. She took it because she had come back to her hometown after her parents' deaths. She needed work, and this prison was the place that actually called back. So from the first minute, the setup is brutal. A single mother walks through steel doors to treat the man who destroyed her life, only to hear him insist that the real mistake wasn't a murder night. The real mistake was believing he did it. 11 years earlier, Brooke had gone to Shane's house with friends for what should have been a stupid, reckless teenage night. Instead, it turned into an enclosed slaughter. A storm cut them off, the house phone stopped working, the car tires were slashed, and one by one, their friends started turning up dead. By the end of the night, 3 teenagers were murdered, Brooke had been attacked and left traumatized, and only 2 boys were left standing in the wreckage, Shane and Tim Reese. Both pointed at the other. Brooke, shattered and half drowning in trauma, clung to one sensory detail, the smell of sandalwood, and because Shane had been wearing that scent, she identified him as her attacker. That testimony sent him to prison for life. But the book's first real mind game is cruelly simple. What if the memory that put a man behind bars was never a memory at all, just panic trying to become certainty? Inside the prison, Shane starts working on Brooke immediately. He doesn't rage, he doesn't perform like a movie monster. He whispers, he needles, he tells her she got it wrong, and then he names the one person she never wanted dragged back into his story, Tim Reese. That matters because Tim isn't just some random old classmate. He's Brooke's childhood friend, the other survivor from that night, and now the assistant head at Josh's school. He slides into Brooke's present life like the answer to a prayer, dependable, kind, patient with Josh, everything Shane is not. He looks like safety, which is exactly why McFadden makes him dangerous looking. Shane warns Brooke to stay away from Tim. Brooke remembers that Tim once dated Tracy Gifford, a girl who ended up murdered before the massacre. Then, a woman called Kelly Underwood, who also had history with Tim, vanishes in the present day. Tim also turns up wearing sandalwood aftershave. Suddenly, the one clue that defined Brooke's entire past, that smell, doesn't belong exclusively to Shane anymore. And once that happens, the prison bars stop feeling like protection. They start feeling like the walls of a lie. That is where the book springs its nastiest red herring trap. Brooke lets Tim back into her emotional life. She starts building something with him. Josh likes him. The town starts to feel survivable again. Then Brooke finds Kelly's corpse in Tim's basement. It is the kind of reveal McFadden loves because it doesn't just change the plot, it humiliates the protagonist. In one instant, Brooke thinks she has done it again. She trusted the wrong man again. She accused the wrong man again. And because Tim now looks like a killer, Brooke does the unthinkable. She recants her testimony against Shane. The justice system snaps absurdly fast in thriller logic, and Shane is released within months. On paper, this looks like the exoneration twist. It looks like the story where the prison held the wrong monster. But the genius of the setup is that this is not the ending. This is the moment Brooke unlocks the cell from the outside. The next section of the novel is pure dread, because Shane doesn't come out of prison swinging a knife. He comes out smiling. Brooke picks him up. She introduces him to Josh. She convinces herself that maybe this is how she atones for stealing 11 years from a man who is telling the truth. That is the emotional trap. The idea that guilt can make you welcome danger into your own house. For a moment, Shane even looks almost human again, hurt, confused, trying to reconnect with the son he never knew. But then control creeps back in. He takes Josh out. He starts deciding the terms. His voice shifts. And Brooke realizes far too late that prison didn't tame him, it just taught him patience. By the time she knows she has made a catastrophic mistake, Josh is with Shane, Brooke is panicking, the roads are icy, the phone service is useless, and help arrives wearing the warmest disguise in the entire story, her babysitter, Margie. That is when the book twists the knife again, because Margie is not Margie. Margie is Pamela Nelson, Shane's mother, and she is standing in the snow with a gun. This is the real reversal. Not Tim was evil all along. Not Shane was framed. The truth is meaner than that. Pamela reveals that Tim was meant to be the patsy from the start. She and Shane engineered the original massacre together. Brooke had always been the target, and the dead friends were collateral damage in a revenge plan that started years before the killings. Pamela had an affair with Brooke's father when Shane was young. He promised her a future, promised to leave his family, promised to support them, and then abandoned her. Pamela watched Brooke grow up inside the life she believed should have belonged to her and her son. So she turned motherhood into vengeance. She helped Shane kill that earlier victim, Tracy, partly to cast suspicion towards Tim. She helped orchestrate the bloodbath that ruined Brooke's life. And in the present, she planted Kelly's body in Tim's cellar so Brooke would suspect Tim, free Shane, and hand the real predator his way back into her home. In other words, Brooke didn't put the wrong man behind bars. She let the right man back out. From there, the thriller stops pretending it is about uncertainty and becomes a survival story. Pamela calmly explains that Brooke now has to die so that Pamela, Shane, and Josh can become the family she thinks she was owed. It is one of the book's coldest ideas, that revenge has sat fermenting for so long, it now calls itself love. Brooke fights back in the snow, gets hold of the gun, and Pamela goes down wounded. Then comes what looks like fate. Josh runs out crying that Shane is hurt, and Brooke finds him beneath a tree, smashed by falling snow and heavy icicles. On the surface, it reads like poetic justice. The man who built his life around violence gets erased by the indifferent brutality of winter. Pamela survives long enough to confess, Tim is cleared, and Brooke is left staring at the ruins of a story she misread for more than a decade. But McFadden still has one more trap waiting, because she never lets relief stay clean for long. In the epilogue, the book reveals that Shane did not simply die in an accident. Josh made it happen. After being warned by Tim that Shane was dangerous, and after hearing Shane speak cruelly to Brooke, Josh decided his mother needed protecting. He shook the branch, brought the snow and icicles down, and when that wasn't enough, he finished Shane off himself. That final turn reframes the entire novel one last time. The prison story becomes a story about inheritance. Violence doesn't just come from killers. It leaks into children, into memory, into the choices people make when fear becomes normal. Brooke survives. Tim is exonerated. Pamela's lies collapse. But the emotional verdict is uglier than a neat thriller ending. The innocent do not walk away clean. They walk away changed. And that is why The Inmate works as a high-retention breakdown. It begins with a woman trapped inside a prison corridor, and it ends by asking whether the most dangerous cell in the story was the one built around her mind. What's scarier, the killer behind bars, or the lie that convinces you to open the door? Let me know in the comments, and if you want more psychological thriller breakdowns like this one, like the video.